Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode number 3 of the Gaming Fuse podcast. Ignite your addiction. Or should I say, ignite your passion. Yes, welcome to episode number 3. Sorry there is no intro on the show tonight. I'm still having some issues with it, kind of stuttering and whatnot, so I'm not sure if there's a conflict in the program or it's perhaps my PC. It could be a little bit of both or one or the other. But either which way, here we are getting ready to go. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Noof Nukem in the room. Let's bring in our fantastic panel members, starting with the phenomenal guy. We call him TD. Yeah, he's the Titan. He's the big man on campus. Titan Drago's in the building.
Touchdown. What's up, chat? Timothy, man, glad to see you could set your alarm, make it for the show. Let's start the show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see Timothy Dixon here, longtime supporter of the podcast and channel. Great to have him here in the chat. We'll talk to the rest of the chat in just a second, but let's bring in our newest panel member. We introduced him last week. For those of you who didn't get to meet him, well, here he is, live in the flesh, my fellow Canadian, Mental9R.
What is up, chat? Good to see everybody tonight. I'm looking forward to having a great show. I think we got a lot of fun topics for everyone, so let's get to it.
He's definitely got the perfect name to be on the Gaming Fuse with the mental in it. So, yeah, because people have accused us of being a little bit mental at times. And hopefully this show will be around fire. Yeah, put your kids to bed because this one can go off the rails. It is an M-rated podcast. It's right, rated M for mature or, mental, I guess. So let's get into it. Let's say hello to the chat first and foremost because we got some amazing people in here. We already mentioned Timothy Dixon, but hey, it wouldn't be a fantastic Monday night without the one, the only Doggy Dog 420 hanging out with us. Casket Repair is in the house. We got Nick's here. We got Talos Ray. We got Your Wicked Hots in the building. What's going on? We've also got, who we got going on here? Scrolling on down the line. We have got Princess Zelda hanging out with us. We got Dion Landon. We got R. Rob, or I call him R. Double. Good to see you, R. Rob. We got to play a game real soon. It's been way too long. And, there we go. Doggy Dog coming in hot with the first super chat of the evening. And, all right, I'm going to give it to you, Mr. Titan Drago.
Gaming Fuse is fire.
Fire.
Maybe that's lit. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, lit, fire. Some people might say shit. Who cares? Anyway, Trey, we're glad that you're here. Hit that like, subscribe, share this out, let people know where we are and how to find us. And again, thank you all for the support. You are absolutely amazing. So let's, without further ado, let's get right into the topics. Let's first of all, you guys, what have you been playing? Titan, what you been pounding down the last little while?
Madden. Got back, started playing the Smite a little bit. Yeah, I do a lot of Madden, actually. I'm on like my 8th season, my franchise season, so I love doing it. Fantasy drafts are one of my favorite things to do. I love football fan my whole life. I wish I could get my kids more into it. They're like anti-sports for the most part, so that kind of
must be a trend these days.
Do you think? Yeah, because maybe I don't know, man. The thing is, I
find in general, less kids are involved in sports or are less interested than previous generations for some weird reason. I think maybe it's because they have a lot more avenues to pursue or more entertainment things, I guess.
Well, yeah, like video games are just so impressive nowadays, and but I'll tell you this, when I go out there, I always play one thing that keeps me in shape. I go out there and play, when the school year's up, I go out there and play with my 4th grade. I play football with them. I'll either do all-time quarterback or all-time safety. I play with them. And so, sometimes I even get a little competition. I get competition with them too. And they love it, man. We have a good time out there, man. But a lot of my 4th graders sure love playing football.
There you go.
Right on.
It's all about the little kids.
Right on.
Mental, how about yourself, man? What have you been pounding down? I see you're playing a little bit of Halo. I was almost going to send you a message and ask if you needed somebody to come over and help you roll some people, but then I'm pretty rusty, so I'm probably better off staying on the sideline.
You should have. I was just playing with my kids, so that was the Father's Day thing. Spent some time playing
awesome
PvP with the kids, so that was fun.
Play with Mental, you get rolled, you find out why he calls himself Mental.
Yeah, no doubt. Other than that, I've been playing. I'm still working on, Dead Space. I think I'm in chapter 10 or something in that now. And doing a little Gears 4 on the side, which is just playing through the campaign again. I haven't played that in ages, and I started messing with it. And I'm like, hey, actually, this was pretty fun. So I'm playing through that as sort of a third thing that I'm doing. Can't just play one game at a time. I don't know. ADHD. What can I say?
I also bought that new game. The roller. I forgot what it's called, but it's the new roller coaster tycoon game. I gave it a 2 out of 5 to start with. It's like a couple update because it's like it crashes a lot. And I don't usually it crashes a good amount, and it's like the pathing is very glitchy, and like some rides shut down automatically on you because of the pathing. So it's a little annoying. It needs a couple quality of life improvements. I even made a review of it on the Xbox Live Store. So this game needs I said it's a couple updates away from being great.
Fair enough. Let's catch up with the chat real quick. We got our good buddy of the show, Dreadpool's in the building. What's happening? We got a newcomer here with a very interesting moniker, Ass Eating Click. All right, Slinky Emma's in the building. Draven Arrow's here as well. Dion Landon's here, as I mentioned earlier. He goes by Blaze111888. You'll find him over on Xbox. We've played together in the past. Spider-Man356 is swinging through the building. So, yeah, we've got the who's who of the podcast community here right now. That is amazing.
Spider L, what's up, buddy?
As far as me, playing stuff, a bunch of different things. I've been playing some Grid Legends. I've been playing some, Redfall, believe it or not, which I still really enjoy, oddly enough. And a little bit of Diablo and some Fortnite. So a little bit of a mixture of everything lately. So it's good. And it's really good to be back on the Series X. You don't really realize how much you enjoy those consoles on that one in particular until you've kind of gotten without it. And yeah, it's just the definitive Xbox, man. So got to have that stuff. New Phenomics working well, baby. Alrighty. Haven't managed to trade in the wife yet, though. I don't know. Nobody wants to take her.
I told my wife when she was going to turn 50, I was trading it for 2 25-year-olds, but I'll keep her around, I think.
There we go. There you go. Some great jokes coming up from Mental9R. That's good. I like it. Well, let's get right into the topics. First of all, let's talk about Starfield and the reaction thus forth. It's been a little over a week now since we finally got to see, the guts of the game, so to speak. For the most part, I'd say the reaction's been extremely positive. Apparently I'm hearing rumblings that actually like pre-orders and things are even up in the land of the rising sun, that this game even has the Japanese crowd finally excited for an Xbox title. I'm seeing PlayStation-centric guys actually, kind of go like, this game looks pretty cool. We're going to have to get on board. Of course, from the hater group. But for the most part, it seems like it's been really positive. A lot of people are jumping on board. Yeah, we're not gonna sit here and beat to death the 30 frames a second stuff. We kind of know where that is, and we also found out last week or when we talked about it that it's a design decision more than anything else. Is there more to it? I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. But will there be a 60 frames a second option down the road? That is also a possibility. But all we can do is talk about what is, and that is Starfield is coming out. It's going to run at 30 frames a second. Hopefully it's locked in, and the game plays really well, and it's going to be absolutely massive, diverse, the whole 9 yards. So I can't wait. It seems like the general public can't wait. So how do you feel about it now that we've seen more, heard more? Is the hype for real? Is everybody up buying their special controllers and their headsets and the limited edition? All that stuff is what I want to know. And we're going to pass it over to the panel. But before we get there first, we do have to bring up a super chat. And maybe you want to bring this. Maybe you want to take this one, Mental. It's from Ass Eating Click.
Bro, it's me, Vic the Click. Long story.
Vic the Click. Okay, long story. Well, that's a different moniker. Okay. Vic the Click is now the Ass Eating Click. Okay, interesting. And hold that controller up again. Put it up nice and big. I kind of blocked it out. Oh, look at that. He's already got his hands on that sexy bugger. Look at that. Yeah, the Titan's got his hands on that sexy bugger. Oh, my God. Everybody's got the sexy bugger but me. But if I buy that sexy, oh, my Lord.
Oh, you got the headset.
Wow, this guy is the real deal. He's on top of shit.
It's those reward points, I had to use them for something. They were burning a hole in my pocket, so.
Hey, well, you can pass them over to here and burn some holes in my pockets.
Oh, man, I still got it.
I need to get one of those, man. That's sexy. That's awesome. I love it. So the Starfield hype is real. When people are buying accessories and the game's not even out, it's for real, right? So let's start with Titan. And now that you've had a chance now to kind of watch it a bit more and again, follow stuff on social media and follow different media outlets, where's your take on Starfield now? Do you think this game's going to live up to that hype now? Like, because people are really excited.
I mean, I think it's got the most potential just because of how they designed it, the choices they did make, the freedom that they're allowing. That's what's really going to make this game, I think, what it is, because I think everyone's going to have a different story. And let's if we rewind time, like, all right, let's take the Spider-Man Miles Morales or something like that. People talked about that for not very long. Why? Because everyone's got the same story. Well, games like this, it's gonna, like, people are going to be talking about this for a long time. And that's really what it comes down to, like a success of a game. How long does it last? What's the staying power of the game? I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later, but yeah, this game offers everyone's going to have a different story. Noof, you're going to be telling me about your probably penis shape, starship that you make flying around the place, and I'm going to tell you about mine. It probably looks like something Star Wars,
And then you'll compare, and the rest is history.
Yeah, everyone's going to have a different story to share with each other, man, and that's kind of like one of the more exciting things. I just wish it was kind of co-op, man. That would be so cool to like show base building, whatever, but not a necessity. I still it's going to be really cool. The story's about what it's going to all be about.
Well, I want to make a starship that has big balls on it. It's going to look like the Millennium Falcon with some big old truck nuts on it,
Like those, like.
Oh my Let's God. Pose this question to the chat: Who's planning to buy Starfield day one and that sort of thing? And I'd also like to know who's planning to actually buy a copy of it outside of just Game Pass. Spider-Man's going to play it through Game Pass. A lot of people probably are, but I've also seen a lot of people say they actually want to buy this game, like they want to have a legitimate copy, so to speak.
Aren't they doing like a play? What is it, 4 days early or something like that? If you do the ultimate pre-order,
that's right. Yeah,
I hate that.
Yeah, me too. Eh? Big cash grab.
Yeah,
you can use the Game Pass thing and then just like top it up with the expansion pass or whatever, and you get that same benefit. So instead of paying the big bucks, you can get away with $30 or $40 or whatever it is.
Doggy Dog's got the Constellation Edition. Dreadpool bought the Upgrade Ultimate Edition. Jason Max got the Premium Upgrade.
Is that Constellation? Is that the one with the watch?
Yeah, that's the top one.
Yeah.
Geez, how many different ones?
I kind of wanted that.
You got the control. You got the mental. You got the controller and the headset.
Yeah.
That one doesn't come with the watch.
No. Those were independent purchases. Like I was looking for it, but the cost in Canada is insane. No, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I think that one comes in at what is it? Is it over $300 or something?
Jeez,
I think it's like $300 US. So that's like probably $399 in our fair country.
Yeah, and I listened to some podcast. They were talking to Phil Spencer about how do you develop a game like this? It's been developed for years and years and years and years with all this production money going into it. How do you make money off of it? Well, I mean, you got $300 editions that people are gobbling up. You got all the accessories, whatnot, the headset that he's got, the controllers.
Yeah. That's where the money is.
They're going to be fine.
Yeah, there'll probably be action figures and crap too, right? You'll get their gear shop will have those, what are they called? Funko Pops or something. You'll have those things. You're going to have all kinds of crap. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I guarantee this game turns into more than just a game. It'll be like a phenomenon, you know what I mean? It'll just be so huge, that sort of thing.
If it's half as good as it looks, like they did a great job. Like I rewatched the direct thing again, and it's like it's good. Like it looks really good. The possibilities are endless.
Oh, it's just going to be massive. So obviously, it sounds like to me, you're definitely in. You're buying the hype. Obviously, you're right in day one. You got the controller, you got the headset. Which, like I said, you're buying that stuff for a game that's not even out. That's pretty impressive, right?
Yeah, I mean, chances are I'll be in a bit early.
I mean, a game that comes out and it's got people making, what was it? I saw something online today. What was it? Like they're having people sign this thing to make this game a PlayStation exclusive. I can't believe what I see.
Did you read that whole thing? It's like it was written by a 10-year-old. It gets into this rant about Phil Spencer and don't let him get away with this. And oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure I'm a little bit dumber for having read as much as I did. Probably lost a few IQ
But it's
points.
like, man, there's someone out there that actually took the time to do this. Like, imagine putting, like my wife said, imagine if people like took that time and effort and put it into something useful in this world. Like, how much better would the world be instead of doing something this ridiculous that will never ever happen,
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Jason Max in the chat brings up an interesting point about land vehicles. Did anybody see any land vehicles displayed in this game? Did they have anything very similar to the Mass Effect things, or?
Man, I could have remembered like
I don't recall
years ago, like some type of land thing. I
can't imagine that you're going to walk the whole planet just walking around. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be something to it. You got to have a speeder bike or something.
Yeah, there's got to be something. I don't honestly recall seeing anything. In the back of my mind, you mentioned Mass Effects, and I'm thinking, did I see something like that? Yeah, no.
I want to say I saw some type of like 4 wheels on each side or something rover type thing, but maybe that was a different game. It's been so long.
That's what was going through my head, but
I really loved that in the first Mass Effect game, like all the planets, going around the Mako and stuff. That was awesome.
Yeah, I know one thing I did see.
Sorry?
And I know one thing I did see was Dreamcast guy blew a gasket and posted a video about how crappy it was and then pulled it down because of the hate, but I did see that. That was funny.
We're talking about Dreamcast guy. That guy's got about 3 brain cells, okay? I wish he'd change his name because honestly, he's so dumb it's insulting to the Dreamcast brand. Okay?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. It's a bit mind-blowing, but Marlin Gaming was blowing a gasket too about the 30 FPS, so I thought that was pretty funny as well. I could only take so much though, and I had to shut him off.
Jason Max said, "Walk 1,000 planets." Imagine doing that. Like, what if that was like one of the secret achievements? Like, how many achievement points should that be worth? You
gotta land on each one and walk so many kilometers, right?
Man,
they should do something crazy like that. Have a secret achievement like that, and have it be worth just like 100,000 gamer score, something ridiculous.
Yeah, something huge.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Well, what can we say, guys? The hype is real. It seems like everybody in this chat definitely is excited for Starfield. Look, and it's finally a game that, if you got other people talking about it and you're finally getting people to consider picking up an Xbox console or buying a subscription to Game Pass so they can get into this ecosystem to get, then mission solved, right? I mean, I'm sure that was part of it too when Xbox picked up Bethesda. That they were hoping that they'd have a couple of those games that have that kind of draw. And as big as we think Starfield is, the crazy part is we're not even up to Elder Scrolls 6 yet, right?
Yeah.
So as we think Starfield's big, imagine how big Elder Scrolls is going to be when it drops. I mean, because Elder Scrolls is just like Skyrim is probably one of the biggest games in the last 20 years when you think of it. It's been on everything. People have bought it multiple times. It carries huge weight. And if this game is looking this good, I can only imagine that, the next Elder Scrolls is going to be absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean?
Well, they got to take a step back somewhere, right? Like I would imagine they got to. I mean,
maybe not. I don't know.
Is too much a bad thing? I think that's where we're getting. I think that's easily a conversation in and of itself. Like, when is enough enough? When is it too much? When is it blatantly too much?
That's what I was thinking about the 1,000 planets, though.
Yeah.
Like, wow, it's almost a bit of an overwhelming number when you think about it too hard.
I think that's more of the 1,000 planets. I mean, I think it's more of a selling feature, but at the same time, most of us will never receive a fraction of that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I just hope that the story is streamlined, and like I said, I think Starfield. Hopefully, it's one of those games that if you're a kind of person that just wants to play this for 40 hours, you're going to get the most out of it. And if you're one of those people that has the time to burn and you want to play this game for years, like you're going to find lots to do, much like you did with Skyrim, where you could literally play it for like a whole year and always find new interesting things to kind of delve into. So I can only imagine, man, where this game is going to go and how it's going to look. And let's just hope that by the time it actually launches, it feels polished. That's a big thing, right? It needs to come out and it needs to run well enough, right? Like, we expect there's going to be bugs. I mean, even the best games have bugs, but it needs to come out and it needs to feel at least not broken, like a few things here and there, like the minor stuff, but you don't want to be losing game saves. You don't want to progress somewhere. You don't want to be stuck in like a planet or a wall and you can't progress, like those, the game breaking bugs, right?
Mm-hmm. Like Bethesda does one thing I think better than anyone else, and that is definitely like the side missions, the level of detail and the storytelling and just the uniqueness of the side missions too. I still remember a ton of side missions from like Oblivion, man. Oblivion had such good side missions, and that was one of the few games I bought the expansion to, beat that as well. Like I usually get burnt out on after so long with an RPG, but Oblivion, man, that was like one of my favorite ones. So and they kind of hinted towards that in this last, in their showcase or whatever, with the fan. Do you remember that? The fan that like constantly talks to you or whatever. And at the end, they showed pointing the gun at the back of his head, and they're like, "Well, we'll let you discover that on your own." That stuff, that's what they're known for, man. That's the cool stuff that I love about Bethesda.
Yeah. Going back to one of your earlier points there, Noof, I do actually know a few people that are PlayStation only console owners at the moment that are looking at picking up a Series X for this. So it may have some impact. It is a console seller, to be perfectly honest. If you went back to the old days and it wasn't on PC and it wasn't anywhere else, yeah, you could bet they'd be selling consoles like crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the two, right? Either they get new Game Pass subscriptions, or they get people into the console with a Game Pass subscription, or they buy just an Xbox and they buy the game digitally or physically or however. So at the end of the day, let's hope this the game does well and that it's received well and it scores well and people really enjoy it, because I think we got a lot of games this fall. And man, September is going to be a packed month, and then October gets even worse. So it's crazy, and So let's hope it's as good as it definitely seems it's going to be, and from all indications, seem to be pointing in the right direction. So, alrighty. We're going to get ready to move the needle, but before we do that, let's say hello to the chat again, because we got some people coming in a little late, including our good buddy of the show, Sir X-Man is in the building. We got Thimber here as well. What's happening, Thimber? Doggy Dog still hanging out with us. We got Jason Max in the house. We got Remake Station 5 hanging out with us tonight. Toolman55 is here as well. John Wolf X is in the building. What's going on, brother? Good to see you here. Victor Click, as always, well, he is ass-eating Click now, but either which way, he is still a Click. So that's awesome. Thanks again for being here, everybody. All right, we hope you're enjoying the Gaming Fuse so far, and let's move along. So, any further thoughts on Starfield, or shall we talk about Ubisoft?
Ubisoft it is.
Ubisoft it is.
Move along.
All right, I'm going to try to share a screen with everybody, so just give me a second here. Let's share a screen so we can bring it up so everybody can see. All right, here we go. So on the weekend, was it the weekend, or when did that take place? A couple days ago. Was it Monday, right? Monday, right? I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was Monday.
Yeah, so I think it happened Monday, and we just didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because it was too much from the Xbox showcase. So we're going to talk about the Ubisoft Connect. Ubisoft, certainly one of the most prestigious third-party publishers in the gaming space. And it used to be very, very huge a few years ago, but it sort of started to slip a little bit, started to lose a little creative juices, in my opinion. Going back to the well for various sequels, as you can see right on the screen right now, Just Dance 2024, which has become an annual addition now to a very popular franchise. I don't play it, and I've never even touched a single Just Dance, but hey, some people like them, so I'm not here to dissuade on that. But we're going to talk about some of the announcements that they had. Any of you guys get down and boogie to Just Dance, or perhaps your kids do?
No, I was deep into the which I really can't wait as soon as this acquisition goes through. I'm with Doggy, man. I was like the Guitar Hero. I did some of the singing too in the Guitar Hero as well. But yeah, never did the. You know what? I did do some dancing, like when it was like very new. Like I remember the mat pad, whatever. Mm-hmm. You would have that. I did that a few times over at my buddy's house. Not too many though. It's been forever.
How about you, Mike? You look like you've danced your hair right off to this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, do I look like a dancer? Probably not, right? Yeah,
no. No, you don't strike me as the kind of guy that gets up and gets funky with it.
No. My wife and kids did play a bit of the just dance stuff, though, with the Kinect camera. How does it even work without a camera? Like, how does it know what you're doing? Or I don't know. I haven't played any of the recent ones.
Talking about like the pads? Played. Yeah, there was just a mat, like old school,
Is that what they're doing forward. Again?
It was a while ago, man. Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think we had something like that for the old Nintendo Wii there. One of those pads that you jump around on for whatever the heck game that was. I can't remember, but yeah, I have no idea how the new ones work.
All right, so there you go, guys. Real quick and simple. Just Dance is we're going to move the needle along and keep going. We do have another super chat coming in. Let's get to that one right away. It comes in from Sir X-Man. He drops $2. Titan, take it away.
Hit that like and share, everyone. I did your turn.
That's right. Sir X-Man dropping in. He did his. Hope you're feeling pretty good, Sir X-Man. Good to see you here, my brother. All righty, let's move the needle over a little bit here, and let's get to the next one that they talked about here. They got I skipped past it. All right, this one to one of the biggest movies of the past year. It is a game loosely based around that. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. We saw this several years ago at one of the E3 shows, I do believe, even before the pandemic. They were talking about it. It is just about around the corner. Anybody excited to jump into the world of Avatar? I thought it looked pretty darn cool from what I saw of it. And yeah, take it away.
Yeah, to me it was a meh. It might be. I'm sure it's got a lot of fans for Avatar, but I think like if you're not a fan of Avatar, the thing is there's so many games coming out. Like we really got to start to choose. Like we got to pick and choose which ones fit us best. And this one is not.
Is this one coming this year though? This one is this year, correct? The release date?
I don't remember the
release date. Anyone remember the release date for it? I don't. Let's see if it says it on this thing here. I don't see a release date. If anybody in the chat knows a release date for Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, I think it's supposed to come out this fall. December, according to Rob. There you go.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. I mean, for me, it graphically, it looks pretty and everything. I'd say I'm mildly interested in it. You know what would really make me interested is if I could play on the other team, like play on the human side and go in and just kill everything. That'd be cool.
You sadistic bastard.
There's that mental thing coming in, but yeah, if I can choose between Jedi and Sith, I'm the Sith every time, right? So put me on the bad guy side and away we go.
December 14th, it is locked down. That's another thing too. I watched this trailer. When I first saw it, I thought it was going to be a third-person action game, but apparently, from what I've seen lately, it's first person now. Is that right, or does it have both options? Does anybody know?
Well, when we saw some flying gameplay, where that's definitely got to be third person, right? But then,
probably.
I don't know.
Probably when you're flying, but what the
maybe it is a switch.
Was literally first person. I'm like, okay.
Maybe it is a switch back and forth. Like maybe when you're flying, it's third person. I don't know. Either way, I could care less.
Okay. So I think this game
pumped.
falls in the middle. Like a lot of us are like, yeah, we'll try it, but many of us basically it doesn't sound like something you'd go out and plop down your $80-$90 for day one, right?
I didn't even see the last Avatar movie, The Way of the Water or whatever.
I haven't seen it yet either. So.
I think I only made it through about half the first one, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch the whole thing. It's a little long.
Well, there you have it. And it doesn't sound like the chat's overly excited either. But anyway, let's move it to something else and see if we can find something a little more exciting to talk about. Real quick. All right. So now we're getting to Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. This was an interesting looking one, going with a completely different art style. Kind of a homage to the new and the old all in one, but kind of going to that 3D, 2D studio kind of graphics with a very colorful, interesting art style. What did you guys make of this one? It's been a long time since we had a Prince of Persia game, but not quite what we expected, I'm guessing.
Yeah, platformers. I hate platformers. I haven't been into platformers since like regular Nintendo. I think it's probably because I just got burnt out playing regular Nintendos, trying to beat those games. It took a lot. So the game, it looked pretty cool, though, the way you're like jumping around and stuff. I don't care for anything Prince of Persia, though. I think the coolest thing about Prince of Persia, which I didn't even see the movie, but I would like to because I had my second favorite actor, Jake Gyllenhaal. That dude's badass.
Yeah, that's true. Jake Gyllenhaal's had some good movies. That wasn't a terrible movie by any means. How about you there, Mental? What's your take on this one?
I mean, honestly, I think what comes down to is it's side scroller more or less, right? And I'm not like hugely into stuff like that, but I watched a little bit more of the show kind of went on past all the main trailers. It was kind of their direct version, I guess. I watched a bit more about it there. I'm mildly interested. It might be something I give a try if it shows up in Game Pass or something, but otherwise it's not something I'm going to spend money on. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a full price game. I don't even know how long it's going to last. Anybody here excited about in the chat? Excited about the new Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown?
Did you guys notice Phil Spencer was in the audience at this show?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did you notice how often they had the camera on him, too? It was like every few seconds. Oh, hey, Phil's here. You guys should be interested. Yeah.
I wonder, he's there front row.
Phil's probably got a notepad and he's going, how much we're going to have to pay Ubisoft to drop this game into Game Pass? Right? He's like, yeah, that one looks like a pass. That one looks like it's good. You know what I mean?
He's getting ready to write that check for when this ABK deal goes through, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Our Rob liked the way it looked. He said the old style was too similar to the Assassin's Creed. Spider-Man says it's $50. That's probably Canadian, but either which way, should be good for the $50. Looks like I said, if you're into that sort of thing, you love Prince of Persia, I'm sure it'll be a pretty decent title. Let's move along to the next thing here. All right, now we got a Defiance, and I think Titan, you wanted to say something about this. The Division Resurgence. Am I on the wrong page? Oh, that's the next video is Defiance. So Division Resurgence. This is where we're going first. Looks like another DLC, I'm guessing. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
Anybody here even still play the Division? Like to me, of all the games that came out from Ubisoft in the last 10 years, that really had people hyped, that totally missed its mark, I felt was the Division. I felt by the time they got the Division where they wanted it to be, a lot of people had already abandoned it, and now you just kind of got the hardcore people playing it. I played quite a bit of the first one and very little of the second one, and I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. I don't know what it was about the Division, but just not my cup of tea. You know what I mean? We'll start with you on this one, Mental. Is that the kind of game that you've been digging? Did you like the other ones and any kind of hype at all for Resurgence?
Yeah, actually, I'm a little bit hyped for it. I really enjoyed the Division 2. I didn't play for years after I finished the story, but I played through the story and I played through the Warlords of New York as well. Really had a good time playing that too. So yeah, I'm somewhat hyped for it, I guess.
Okay, Timothy Dixon clarifies that it's a mobile game. I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that. Really? That's what this is?
If it's a mobile game, I think your hype just dropped exponentially.
Oh, yeah, it just fell through the floor. Like, how far down is hell?
In your pocket.
It might have hit there. It might have made it all the way down to hell. I don't know. But, yeah.
I know
If that's what it is, I'm done.
I know Boom played the heck out of Division 2, and I remember him talking about like how all the ways he liked the improvements they made from the first game. I bought the Division 2, I think, for a game sale for $7. I might have put 2 minutes into it. I don't even know if I even touched the dang thing. Like, just.
Yeah, when I first played the original Division and then I saw all these weapons, the purples, the oranges and stuff, I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm already out. Like, I don't need, there's another D-based game or game that starts with a letter D that started the whole color coding weapon bullshit, and that was Destiny. And then every other game starts following suit. I'm like, I'm just getting really tired of this leveling weapons shit. It's just, it gets old. I wanted something a little closer to Ghost Recon, and that's not what... I mean, it played fine. I like the play control and the graphics and stuff, but it just turned into something I wasn't ready for.
See, I was playing the Division 2 kind of... Well, maybe that was the Warlords New York, where I was playing through... Well, like the COVID lockdown stuff was all happening, so it kind of made it a little more interesting in that respect, I think. But the Division 1... Other than that, I kind of like the environment more in the Division 1, just the freezing cold aspect of it. It makes the survival piece seem a little more real too, a little more intense, knowing, there's that winter environment. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's why I like the Division 2 as much as I did. I never
they
did
were going to come up with a DLC one. And they dropped it. It was called The Division, the Vaccination House. They're trying to force everybody into a camp to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
No, man. Well, it certainly caused quite the division at old COVID in terms of the public and perception. Did, yeah. For sure.
Sure did.
All right, so very little hype on this, and doesn't even seem like the chat gives a dang. So we gonna move it right along. I think the next one we're coming up on is Defiant with the closed beta coming up here. We'll let Titan start because he has a few words to say on this one.
Yeah. So you said Ubisoft kind of fell off or whatever, and they're really trying to break into that FPS arena with this one. Now, I want to point out what they did right, and then I'm going to point out what they're doing wrong with this game. Like, all right, so like upon release, like what they're doing correct, the things that I've noticed is they have a preseason to start that releases with, I think, 14 maps. That's a good number of maps to start with. I saw the range of different guns, to support the different play styles. I think that's always important. Then they already had also showed a season 1 roadmap. Like these are the things that like Halo needs to take notes on, how Ubisoft came prepared from the gun. Right out of the bat, they got this ready for you. Maybe Ubisoft learned from Halo's mistake. I don't know. I don't know which is, because to me, I don't know which is more ridiculous, really. Like to me, Starfield at an archaic 30 FPS or Halo Infinite's complete lack of like foresight, vision, and like content for a live service game. Like they're both equally ridiculous for me. But that aside, I'll digress real quick. Because I could easily see like Defiant's target audience.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be targeting, that Twitch shooter style COD player, like kind of reminiscent of like the Black Ops jetpack era, I feel like.
Yep.
And like, I hope they have a standout anti-cheat, because people that play this game love to be pathetic and use cheating programs in these style of games. If they don't have that, this game will be dead in the water even faster than I think it'll be. So I want everyone to take note on how I think this game is going to flop and why. So what they're doing terribly wrong, those are the things they were doing right. What they're doing terribly wrong is, does anyone notice how like COD, like for years now, they've been going away from like TDM, domination gameplay, yada, yada. Like, ever wonder why? It's because the simple answer is, it's like, the genre has been done well and essentially played out, and, it's got little to no staying power anymore because it's been done so well in the past. Like, staying power to me like defines the success of a first-person shooter. You need a couple things to have that. One, the roadmap. They did that fine. Seasonal content, new metas, weapons, maps, yada, yada. It looks like they got that step covered. that Halo just seemed to fail on. Second thing you need is different modes to keep players from feeling that monotony of repetitive gameplay that gamers that we've been exposed to for decades. And this is where I think Defiant is failing, because they're jumping into a pool that all the other players are jumping out of. Call of Duty, they're there's a reason why they're going toward BR and extraction shooters.
Yeah, that is it. A lot of them start out hot and then they fizzle real quick because people find out how shallow the games are and there's just not enough content to keep people interested. So, it's always tough to go up against Call of Duty, man, because they've been doing stuff for a long time and now they've Call of Duty has a plethora of content. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, how about you, Mental? Any kind of hype for this at all? I mean, I heard it's free to play, so if that's the case, there's no harm, no foul for trying it out, I suppose.
Yeah, if it's free to play, there's a chance I might bounce into it once or twice, but I didn't really see anything that made me say, oh, hey, I really got to play this instead of playing Halo on the weekend with my kids, or COD if I want to play COD, right? Yeah, so I'd say I'm not convinced, but I'm willing to give it a shot if it's free to play.
What they are trying to step into the most competitive part of gaming, and simply because Call of Duty and Halo and Battlefield, these are three AAA games that have been going on for a long time, that have been battling with each other. Call of Duty's been dominating every year in, year out. There's no, I didn't even hear anyone call this the COD killer. That's how bad this is, right? Usually you got a competitor, you're like, oh, that's the COD killer, man. This is going to kill COD. No one's saying that about this game, which isn't a good sign for me.
Because many have tried and many have failed.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. If you're going to jump into that pool, you better be in good shape, because you're going to get drowned pretty quick. I don't see where anyone's going to switch for something that, well, at least in the first look, didn't really impress me. It didn't show me any major reason why that's the game I'd want to play instead of the ones I've already been playing.
And I'm kind of even leaving out the one by Respawn. What was that? What's that one called?
Titanfall.
Yeah.
Apex.
Well, Titanfall and Apex. Yeah. And we should be getting another Titanfall hopefully somewhere down the line, because that's a lot of untapped potential. So yeah, where is this falling in? How do you all right, they got the content, it looks like, but is it good? I don't like it. Good luck.
All right, let's move along, because we got a few more games to get into. Captain Lasercock. Oh, I'm sorry, I pronounced that wrong. Captain Laserhawk. Yes. Anybody know anything about this? I must have missed the trailer in this one, but
I love the dude's glasses. Those were impressive, but
he's got a big gun according to that picture.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's some kind of an anime-based thing. Honestly, I didn't pay too close attention to it. I kind of skipped past it on my rewatch. So
is that HTK in the chat, Peter? Is that HTK?
Yeah, man. That's pretty sure that's Peter Hunting.
Yeah. Where's the old HTK moniker at, buddy?
Yeah, what's going on? He's trying to go incognito here. I'm not supposed to watch these shows. I will try to sneak in the back door.
I will lurk quietly in the corner.
All right. Well, I think it's safe to say we all want to skip Captain Lasercock here and the bloody tampon, so that's okay. Let's move over to the next one.
The tampon Riders needs to get changed.
Riders Republic gets a skate add-on announcement. Now, I don't know if any of you guys played Riders Republic. I skipped out on the first game, so I will have very little to say on this one. But I guess if you're a skateboard aficionado, I guess it could have some potential. Anybody willing to jump back into Riders Republic now that it's got some skateboards?
Throw it in Game Pass.
There you go.
That's about the only way I'll be playing it, I think.
I mean, yeah.
There you go.
No way I'm going out of my way to get this game.
Yeah, no, skateboards aren't going to draw me back in. I've been there, done that sort of thing. So
that one was kind of they didn't really try and sell it either. they had that little period of a whole bunch of game clips kind of all strung together and over a couple minute period. So didn't really see much about it.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to convince me to play it, right?
Well, we do have some really cool stuff coming our way now as a part of crossovers, and it looks like an epic crossover right here. Brawlhalla getting Master Chief and Arbiter from the looks of it. What do you think of that? Anybody fan of Brawlhalla, or is that a pass the gas kind of thing?
I think we're walking into a handful of passes, kind of like
bunch,
the Xbox show.
Yeah, we're walking into that zone where if it shows up in Game Pass.
Yeah, there is that zone, that low point of the show.
Yeah. Jago Kukas in the chat, he calls it Brawlhalla. When I was first dating my girlfriends, I was a Brawlhalla. I tried to holla it right off of her, but never worked. Those damn clasps
can be tricky.
Oh yes. You had some real skills back in the day to get those bras off your lady, let me tell you.
One time, I looked at one and it popped open.
That's some skills. That is some
from
skills.
Friends.
I was going to say, what's your wife?
Joey?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, so there we go. We're into the pass segment of the show. Yeah, pass on that one. Nobody really cares. Looks like another one here. Sort of a crossover. It looks like a Roller Champions getting some Jet Set Radio content in here. I don't even know what Roller Champions is. A damn one never played it.
So that's another one that was in that group of multi-games sort of on display for those few minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Anno 1800 For Honor. Trackmania was in there. Mario and the Rabbids or something.
Right.
Sparks of Hope, Roller Champions, Brawlhalla, Rocksmith, The Crew 2, Riders Republic. And my note was nothing there that I cared about. So
okay. Well, let's move over to Skull and Boners. That one's gone limp for the longest time. Apparently they're getting another open beta coming up this fall. Is anybody ready to hit the high seas with this one, or has it gone so long with delays on this game that nobody even gives a shit anymore?
I've been hyped ever since like the original announcement of this game that I thought it was going to be a competitor to Sea of Thieves. Freaking fast forward years later, it's not even that. They changed it all up and it's still not ready to come out. God, this one is like frustrating for me because this is one like I've been really hyped on and it's changed over time.
Cool Cat Terry, she's always preaching, and she even got to play the beta, obviously under an NDA, but she got to play the first bit of the beta or whatever, and then they pulled it down. And like, every time I talked to her, she was like so hype, and now she's to the point where it's just like, yeah, there's been so many damn delays.
Yeah.
What did she say? What did she say about like the gameplay itself? Did she say anything about it?
I don't remember. I don't know if she got into a whole lot of specifics. She couldn't say a whole lot again under the NDAs, but she did get a chance to play it. And she was disappointed that she had to kind of, put it away and wait for it to come out again. So,
did you notice how quickly they went over this too? Like they didn't even show anything more from it. Like I was expecting
I don't know what's going on.
It's like they're ashamed of it. Like because they had some. I know they had a gameplay already about it, and like, I remember someone saying, I don't remember who, but someone was saying, yeah, this is not ready yet.
Yeah, you see the skeleton on the screen? You see the skeleton on the screen, the look on his face? That's how I look when I'm jerking myself. That's kind of the same thing.
Oh, that's nasty. Spider-Man.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a big hole in his hand.
The music was catchy, though. Impressive bass. That whoever was singing bass and that, I was like,
at the beginning, man.
Yeah, it was fun speculations in the building. Good to see you, brother. Hope all is well with you and the fam.
That was good, man. But what frustrated me is they didn't show anything new about this game. Nothing, and they went over this quick. It's like, we got a little gameplay. So we're going on. Let's move on. It's like they're almost ashamed of it.
They spent more time on the song, right? Like,
yeah, man. Well, they had to come out with something, man. Damn.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's Speaking of coming out with something,
delayed it
like
for.
Assassin's Creed's getting a VR game.
They're like, man, we got to work on our song some more. Give us a delay. Okay. Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed VR. This is right up your alley, Noof.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'm just worried about how that would play in VR somehow. I don't know. I guess it has lots of potential, right? But I'm a little skeptical about that one. We'll have to see, because Assassin's Creed's about a lot of climbing and traversals and stuff like that. So I don't know. It might be pretty trippy though when you're climbing to the top of like a tower and then you got to do that swan dive off the end. That might be kind of cool.
Yeah, I would probably be chucking my cookies. So, yeah, I'm not a VR guy.
It did look like they slowed it down a little bit, which would definitely help with that. Like, because I remember when I put on a VR headset, I get sick probably after 15 minutes. But my brother put me on a roller coaster one. I was feeling sick within seconds, and it was the speed of it all, So I think they slowed. I think that was very purposeful in the way they slowed this one down. But it looked really good, and it's MetaQuest 2, so that's gonna be like, that's top of the line.
If they can pull it off, it'll be a big title for them. It could certainly pull in some new people to the series, and again, it's a recognizable series, so definitely, like I said, it has potential, but we'll see where they take it.
So does anything from MetaQuest ever make it to like PlayStation VR? That's what I want to know.
Yes, a lot of the games, like right now the PlayStation VR 2 has got a bunch of games that came over from Meta or that got life on other platforms, like the Walking Dead games. It's funny because they must have cross-licensed something, because Sony allowed the Iron Man game, the Iron Man VR, to go over to Meta, and in return, I think Sony allowed the Beat Saber game to come over on the Sony platform.
That's smart. They need to do that. There are not enough people in the ecosystem of VR to be hoarding games on one headset or another. Yeah, it doesn't make any bit of sense.
That's true. I mean, they both have their strengths and the weaknesses, and it's not a real direct competitor per se in most cases. So, yeah. All right. So next up is a game that more people are excited for in the Assassin's Creed lineage, Mirage, which kind of takes us back to some of the early days and more of the Middle Eastern sort of the setting, and definitely has a vibe that reminds me a lot of the first two Assassin's Creed games more than anything else. And I thought it's shaping up and looking very well so far. I'm pretty excited. How about anybody else in the chat? And of course, a hair on the panel.
Mental, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. I thought the trailer looked good. I mean, the game looks pretty decent. My problem with Assassin's Creed is I often get that paralysis from too many things to do. So I like, even going back to Origins, I played about halfway through and I'm like, I'm done. I've got Odyssey and I've not started it yet, although I heard it's really, really good. I think maybe I'm just a bit burned out on. Yeah, I've heard it's great. So I think the last one I finished fully was Black Flag, where I played through the whole thing back on my PS4 back in the day.
I think you'll like Odyssey. Do you like mythology?
Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, that's what it's.
Me and you seem to have a lot of the same tastes when it comes to that stuff. So yeah, Odyssey was my favorite one.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a run eventually, but it's the old backlog scenario, right? And I'm trying to work through a whole crap load of games, and then I bought a few more on this summer sale, and it's like I'm my own worst enemy, but I'll get to it eventually for sure. I do think there was one cutscene after the cutscene when they first came in to the gameplay, and holy crap, did that look like Origins or what? Like, in fact, it looked like the exact same spot in a specific part of Origins that I remember, where you kind of climb up you're on a ledge and you climb up onto this other tower thing, and I was just like, holy crap, that looks exactly the same. Again, maybe that's just a me thing. I don't know, but
I saw them bring in a lot of like mechanics from like a lot of different games. They got the Hawk back.
Yeah,
and they even added
Origins.
Yeah, they even added a little bit onto it too, right? They got the snipers, and then they got like the part where the one part I didn't care for. I think they could have done it differently, made it a little bit more realistic, but maybe that's part of the story too. Because in the story, in the trailer, they're like, he doesn't even know who he is, yada yada. So where you get your powers from, or whatever. But the part where he's like, where he picked the three targets that were, I don't know, like 20 feet apart from each other, and he kind of just goes, kind of almost teleports from one to one and kills them or whatever. I didn't really care for that. I thought they could have. I think it feels like a little lazy way out to me. Like I thought they could have done that a little differently and made it a little more realistic. But I'll tell you what I did like. I did like the where he throws down the smoke bombs or whatever, and he gets out of there that way. I think I like that stuff. Very realistic, very believable, and it adds to all the visuals and stuff. So yeah. Where are you guys with that, with the teleportation to the three different targets? Because I think that'll be kind of like a hot topic, maybe a make or break for this game. Like if it makes people fall out of the flow of the game, maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll make it too easy.
You're talking about so when you build up a certain meter and you target them, and then you sort of do the instant kills.
Yeah, you're suddenly Batman.
Look, they did it before. The first time they did that was in this was in Splinter Cell Conviction. That's when they first came up with this. You builded a meter, and then you assassinated so many targets, and it worked really well for that game. I think it's kind of cool here. It kind of gives you a little bit of that John Wick vibe, speeds things up a little bit, and makes you cognitive about how you play, because obviously you can't use it liberally. You just can't go around spamming a button and just doing this whenever you want, because you'd be almost like, it'd be just like almost a little too OP. But the fact that you have to do a certain series of stuff in succession to build that meter to finally get a kill definitely makes you think. And then you also got to remember, like, there's only so many targets you can take down, so you got to strategically think about which ones you need to take out and how, because you could get yourself surrounded too if you don't spot your enemies. So I think it's a cool little thing that just it's going to make the combat pretty fluid, and it'll probably certainly help you too in areas where there's a little bit, maybe a higher leveled NPCs around that you need to take out. So I think it's kind of cool. Like I said, Splinter Cell Conviction did it first, and it was awesome in that game. But of course, that was with guns and stuff. But now you're kind of doing it with assassination tactics.
Yeah, you may have convinced me a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll see. One of those things, you got to see a little more, see how it works. But yeah, with the meter, if you can't spam it too much, then yeah, you may have convinced me.
What sold me on this game is knowing that it's not going to be like 100-hour Trek fest. It's not going to be a sludge fest. It's basically going back and trying to please the fans of the original Assassin's Creed games, giving you everything you want without the excessive RPG elements of going around and leveling up stuff. I'm sure they still have that there to a certain degree, but it definitely looks a lot more streamlined, a little more story focused, and there's a place still out there for that sort of Assassin's Creed experience. Let's move on to the next one, because our time is getting short here. Star Wars Outlaws, we saw it displayed at the Xbox Showcase. A lot of people are very excited for this one. This game looked pretty awesome. I think you said that in last week's show, Titan, that this one was a standout, and that Star Wars Outlaws being made by Massive and published by Ubisoft. And this is probably the first. Is this the first? This is the first Star Wars game I think published now, isn't it? Outside of EA. Am I correct? I know
it's the first open world Star Wars game ever.
Because EA has had the license to the Star Wars franchise for quite some time.
I think that's right. I think I saw like on a post or something, someone said "RIP EA," and I was wondering why they said that. So that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. No, I think it's they kind of had somewhat destroyed the Star Wars genre to some extent, just with their sort of lackluster releases. I don't think Battlefield was a huge hit. Maybe it was to other people. It wasn't to me. Although I did enjoy the campaign in Battlefield 2. But the multiplayer I never really got too much into. And I think that's where they kind of had it taken away, because they hadn't done a lot with it. And I think Disney wanted some more freedom with
Battlefront.
Sorry, Battlefront. My bad. Yeah, my bad.
No, yeah, you're right though.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's something that should never happen. That's something I don't want anyone like let's take Spider-Man, for instance. You should not be able to lock down like a character to a console. It always ends up bad, I feel like. And the Star Wars license, that was the worst one of them all, being locked down to EA, being the only ones to make that. And like, why would you do that? You got started. Give it to everybody, man. You're going to make tons more money whether you just give it to EA themselves anyways.
Yeah. No, and, in fairness to EA, the East Respawn or whatever that brought out the
Fallen
Jedi's.
Order.
Yeah, Fallen Order. That was fantastic, right? So they kind of rebounded, but it was too late at that point. They had already lost their exclusivity to it, if I recall correctly on the timing of all that. But I'm glad to see that Ubisoft's getting a chance here. The game looks great. Like this is one I'm pumped about. The rest of their showcase, there's not much there, but this one I'm really excited for.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be making a lot of comparisons between this game.
The cool thing is about this E3, this show from the Ubisoft, we actually got to see the actual gameplay. Whereas on the Xbox showcase, it was more of just the setup for this game. We saw the CGI or the pre-rendered in-game cinematic sort of thing, but we actually got to see, like, you literally see her in the desert moon, and she's on that speeder bike device and stuff, and it was very seamless, and it looked very good. Very, very crisp, very detailed textures and different environments. I think to be honest with you, I think I'll enjoy this game more than the Jedi Fallen Order and those games, because this one seems a little bit more action oriented, kind of in the vein of an Uncharted sort of thing with blasters and stuff. I think this would be more my type of game. I didn't see life meters and sort of on the enemies in the trailers. I don't know if you guys did or not.
It's not something I looked for specifically, but
I wasn't looking for that. But
when you said seamless, I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to be doing a lot of comparisons between this game and Starfield. This game has that seamless from on ground to in the spaceship to in space. Now, I think they hit a little bit of a loading screen or a little bit of loading behind the clouds and the fog moving from from the atmosphere or whatever. But either way, it still seemed seamless, right?
Yeah.
And if that's what you got to do, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's a great way to hide loading, man, into a little thing like that. I'd love
it's like taking an elevator, right?
Yeah.
Same idea.
Yeah, just when you're coming out of a cinematic and it goes to the character, but you know how the camera always sort of goes from being close cut and then it sort of pans away a little bit. The game doesn't really feel like, oh my God, like when you can openly tell where you were in a cut scene and then it enters into the gameplay. And this game kind of just went from a cutscene like into the gameplay, and you almost didn't really notice a transition.
Yeah,
that too. Another good use of the seamlessness. So yeah, this game is very seamless. It's definitely got that over Starfield. Like that, and that kind of sucks with Starfield, like, because loading frames, personally, they take me out of the immersion. It takes me out. When you can do it seamlessly, it's you're stuck there. You don't lose any immersion. That's really important for me.
There's so many ways I think a lot of people are excited. That too.
It is a Star Wars property with a new character we've never seen before, with a very adorable sidekick, some really cool space combat, it looks like, in there as well. And what would it be, a Star Wars game without some great space combat and that sort of thing? So yeah, definitely this one I think ranks high on that excitement meter.
I gotta show you guys this. Father's Day, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. This is one of the things my wife got me. It's Babu. Oh, he's not showing up, is he? Babu Freak, man. Nice. I got the droids. Got to have a droid smith with him.
Right on.
There he is.
He's awesome, nice. Man.
That's awesome. Look at him. That's pretty cool. It's good detail on there. That's awesome. So there you go, guys. That's kind of a reaction to the Ubisoft Connect. I'd say overall it was decent. Most of it was expected. Stuff that we didn't know about really didn't blow anybody's mind. So, and the funny thing with all this Ubisoft stuff too, and just my last note on this is, where in the hell is Beyond Good and Evil 2? They never talk about it. Still in development. Has been in development hell now for what, 8 years, something like that. So I don't know what's
going on.
It's been
so long. I forgot that it was even a thing. To be honest, forgot all about that.
Right, but it's out there, and people keep going like we never see it. And we know there's a new Splinter Cell, at least a remake coming or a reboot potentially of the first game, which could be interesting, but we don't know about that. And, like Ubisoft is one of those companies too, much like Sega. They've been sitting on a gold mine of different properties, and it's just the way that they're using them is a little bit skeptical and some of the direction. Can't wait to see, like I said, what the Assassin's Creed does too when they come back with the next game after Mirage, which is supposed to be in the vein of Odyssey, but is set in feudal Japan or something, or China. Something like that. So that should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I mean, a lot of variety. I mean, I guess that, we said it about the Xbox show. That's good. Variety's always good. Just because they don't all hit for us three guys here, that's, I'm sure there's people out there that are looking forward to a lot of those different games, including that mobile stuff. So,
no, I'm glad you said that because we don't speak for the entire audience. We don't speak for the chat. Some people love it, and some people thought it was fantastic. I mean, I did like the variety. They are bringing back some old franchises. We did see Prince of Persia. Obviously, so there were some definite things to like, and Star Wars certainly being a big highlight right there. So, yeah. But that's it. I'd say it was average at best, but we kind of haven't really seen much more than that from Ubisoft the last couple of years. Whenever they had a Connect, it's kind of been that same thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, my top three were definitely Star Wars, then the Star Wars Deep Dive, and then that Skull and Bones song I thought was cool. So that's my top three moments from the show. But yeah.
So just back to Father's Day again. Happy Father's Day or belated Father's Day to all the dads in the chat and all the moms that got to be dads, I guess, at times. But at the same time, a lot of our dads out there very important to us, play a special role in our lives. My dad, unfortunately, passed away over 10 years ago. Rest in peace. Love him to pieces. My dad, though, was certainly not a dad that got me ever invested into video games. It sort of happened by accident. It was more my friends that got me into video games. I still remember one of the funniest things my dad ever said. They bought me the original Game Boy, and of course, back then you had to put the light attachments on your Game Boy. There was no backlight screens back then. And he walks in the room, and I'm playing in the dark, and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, what's that you got there? What kind of flashlight is that?" I'll never forget that because I laughed so hard. It's like, it's not a flashlight. It's like, it's a Game Boy. And it's like, that was funny. What kind of flashlight is that? So, but what's one of the coolest Father's Day moments you've had with your kids? Mento, you were obviously saying you're playing Halo with your kids, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That you're able to pass on that love for a great franchise. How do you feel about it? And same thing with you, Titan. What have you been able to pass on to them? And what have they picked up from you? So for both of you guys, we'll start with Mental.
What have they picked up from me?
Did you get them into gaming, or was that just kind of natural for them?
Yeah, well, that's exactly where I was going to head, I think, because of my passion for this junk. And, they've got really nice PCs as a result. And, of course, they both have their own Xbox Series X. So, that's, I think, the biggest thing I've passed along to them is just my love for technology and just playing these silly games. So, for good, bad, or worse, they love video games now. So, good times though. That's one of my big highlights is getting to play with my kids, and we try and do that every weekend to some extent. And yeah, we spent quite a few hours playing yesterday. It was fun. Had a blast.
How do your kids feel about the nostalgia era? The stuff that we grew up with is the stuff a lot of them look at today, and they snub their noses like they try to play some of those old games, and they're kind of like, "Yeah, you guys actually play this crap?"
Yeah, no, good question. My daughter really digs it. Like, she's into finding the old Mario Brothers games and stuff, and playing online Super Mario, things like that. She'll play in browser games. She's been working on getting herself an emulator up and running on her PC so she can play more of them. But yeah, no, it's good times. She's right into those older ones. My son, not as much. He's a little younger, but right into Minecraft. Like, he describes, he's self-proclaimed God in Minecraft PvP. Whether or not he actually is, I don't know. But he definitely seems to have his own group of followers now in that game that like to join up with him and play. But yeah, it's good times.
Well, certainly one thing has changed. In our day and age, you had magazines and a Game Genie if you wanted to get past certain things, and now you've got Google. Right? You want to get past the level, you want to figure out something, you just do the Google, put it in on YouTube, and guaranteed 9 times out of 10, someone's already got that shit figured out and telling you how to beat it. It's kind of crazy how stuff's changed. Titan, how about you, man? Your kids, obviously, they're into gaming. Your wife's into gaming, which is awesome. So it's a real gaming family. I know Titan Jr. there, Rocky, he's pretty damn awesome at Call of Duty. He can, he can kick ass and pass gas the whole 9 yards. So, yeah. What about in your household, man? How did it all transpire? Did you guys influence them a little bit, or they just kind of pick it up on their own?
I didn't even wait till they were born. It started when they were in the womb. My wife would lay behind me when I'm playing, I think it was like Modern Warfare 2, maybe COD 4. She would lay behind me watching me play, and like she'd be pregnant with him, and he'd be kicking me in the back, So
there you go.
That's literally
put a set of
where
headphones on her tummy there, and align those just right.
Yeah, so from the womb and on, and then when they were like toddlers and they were infants or whatever, put the controller in their hand and they sit there with it, and jam out with me even then. And it's just gone bigger and better. And Rocky's become a beast in Call of Duty. He's legit. Still not better than his old man. He's better than me at like Fortnite and a few other games or whatever. But the Call of Duty, I'm still the champion. He still likes to challenge the champion, the old man, though.
That's awesome. There's more than a few games now that my kids are better than me, but that's okay. I can still school them sometimes.
Yeah, Rocky does them. They both do the Minecraft, and like they've taught me a lot of things about the Minecraft. So
yeah.
Oh, my daughter knows everything about it. My son likes to play the PvP. My daughter likes the creative side of it more, and she knows. Yeah, she's read so many books on Minecraft. It's crazy.
Yeah, we actually play this game Oddballers. I was just going through my games and I saw I had a free trial. I think it's a new game, Oddballers. Like we were cracking up laughing last night. It's just a silly, fun little game. Like you can do couch co-op or online play, and it's like everyone for themselves. And I think there's team-based modes as well. But we only did we did 5 games or so. But it was hilarious. Good time.
Well, I got to say, I kind of envy or a little bit jealous of you guys that have kids, because me and my wife, we weren't fortunate enough to have them. So, I think that ship has sailed for us now, unless we're going to go into the adoption routine. But, and I always say this when I walk through a toy store, right? And I walk through the toy aisle, and I say, I see those parents buying stuff for their kids, and they kind of go like, God, that kind of sucks. Because one cool thing about having kids is, you not only get to pass on your childhood and some of your memories with them, but you get to see what they adopt as well, and you also get to you get to kind of stay a kid to certain degree. It's like they keep you youthful with that enthusiasm, and nothing better than seeing their eyes light up with new games and stuff. And again, it kind of keeps you young too. And I'm always jealous of that. It's just like, you guys that's so cool. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people saying, well, Noof, you got no kids. I'm kind of envious of your position, but there's something special about having your kids and hearing these stories that make you go, God, that's so cool. To be able to sit down maybe with a Sega Genesis or an old Nintendo and have your kid try it for the first and see their reaction. Games have changed a lot, and certainly attitudes have changed and social media has changed. But, the fact that you're able to play games with your kids and pass on this amazing passion and see, who knows, maybe they're going to be a career gamer. They're going to get into the gaming field or design games or something. So, so I think that's really cool, guys. And I really love those stories.
Yeah.
You remember like being a teenager or something, right? And like your parents would ask you to do something. Like, I'm going to go hang out with my friends, right? I could see the same thing starting to develop. Like in video games. Like we're like in a party chat, me and Zelda or whatever. We're like, hey, you want to come play with us? They're like, maybe later.
Yeah, you're gonna play something else right now.
They try to be nice about it and stuff.
Yeah. No, that happens. Yeah, that does happen for sure. It's like we got through our weekly challenges, but as soon as the weekly challenge was done, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go play something else now, Dad. I'm like, oh, okay, see ya.
And I want to know with the chat, and I need to know from you two guys, how many people did this? Because guaranteed, I'd say it's probably about 90% of us, that when your kid wanted to play games, weren't really old enough to understand the mechanics, but they really wanted to play, is you passed them an extra controller, but you did all the shit on the screen, and they thought it was them.
Oh yeah, and you're like, oh yeah, good job, man. Yeah, do it. Hit that button.
You're just like clicking buttons, and they have no idea, and you're just sitting there playing.
Oh my god, I did it a ton.
I might have done that once or twice.
I was gonna say it's got to be a very high percentage. You're just I'm just gonna keep him quiet. I'm gonna let him have the controller so he doesn't fuss or start crying, and you're sitting there playing the game like okay. Alrighty.
Yeah. Good times.
Absolutely.
Splendiferous in the chat. He had a good comment. There he goes. And that's true. Heck, we go back and play a lot. I play games today that I beat as a kid, and I play them now, and I go, holy mother of hell, I must have been the most patient kid back in the day, or I just played the shit out of that game because I can't beat them now. I don't have the patience. Yeah. Right? See? My 14-year-old hates retro games. He always says, why is it so hard?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard because you didn't have revolving life meters, you didn't have multiple continues, you didn't have multiple save points, and like for me to play a game from start to finish now, like you play these old 8-bit, 16-bit games and you die, and then all of a sudden you got to legitimately start the whole game over, not even the level, you're starting the whole game over, and like, oh my god.
Yeah, well, it sure made you feel good when you eventually beat it though, right?
Oh, frig, yeah.
Jeez.
But I used to explain to people, like, when I had a Sega Genesis, there wasn't, like, 40 games coming out every week. You didn't have hundreds of indies. You didn't have games. You had that one game, and you were going to make the most of it because that's all you had.
Yeah.
You didn't have 20 different – your mom wasn't buying you 20 different cartridges and going, here you go. You're like, now, I mean, I had backlogs when I was a kid, but not like we have now. You know what I mean? I might have had one extra backlog or two games, and I would literally play that game, beat it, play it, and beat it. I would literally play some of the games and beat them multiple times in one day. Yeah. My mom used to always say, she'd make fun. She'd go, did you freaking beat that game? You just bought that game for you. She goes, you beat it already? And I'm like, I want a new game, Mom. Oh, my God. Just like, that's what right? Everybody's like, yeah, we know that. But now if you were to play the same game, you play like 20 minutes, you go, fuck that shit. Right?
It's too hard. I don't have time for this.
I don't have time for this masochistic shit. Right?
Yeah,
go back
it's funny.
Play Mega Man game.
Yeah, I've got more in my backlog now than I ever had games as a kid. Right? The backlog's huge, and I had like 10 or 12 games as a kid. Like, yeah, and then it's I got to trade this in so I can get another one, and yeah.
Yeah, my block it used to work was I would buy the majority of games, or should I say my mom would buy the majority of games, and a lot of my friends would come and borrow my games, and they'd only have one or so for me to borrow every once in a while. So I still remember, that's how it was for a lot of us. It's like, so if I bought, like, say, Revenge of Shinobi and Afterburner, they would go up and buy a game that I didn't have, and then basically they would borrow one of mine, I'd borrow one of theirs. Right? I still remember a lot when Arnold Palmer Golf came out on Sega Genesis, how often I borrowed that from my buddy and played the shit out of it. Loved it. It's great. Tommy Lasorda, baseball, until that was the greatest thing ever until Sports Talk Baseball came out. Right? All those games. Cool stuff. Man.
Yeah, it was different back then. It was a lot different.
Different times. But great stories, and we're going to come to the end of the show here. We got one guy to bring in here. If you haven't seen him already, it looks like it's episode number 3, so it is time to, for me to bring him in here. So give me 1 second, and I'll bring him along.
All right.
While he does that, start thinking of your questions in the chat now, please.
That's right. Get your questions ready, because I'm bringing them in here. All right, that's me on the screen, but... Hey, where you at there, Handy Andy, where you at, buddy? Where you at? I know you're somewhere. I think that's but you I heard having a piss earlier. Okay, all right. He's coming. All right.
Chat don't know about that.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, it's Handy Andy. I'm back here for episode number 3. Hope you guys are all doing well. For those of you who've never met me the last 2 weeks, hello. I hope that you are having a really good time and enjoying this show. Don't you guys think these 2 guys to the side of me are absolutely adorable and so handsome? You got Mental9R and Titan Asshole. Did I say that right? Oh, sorry, it's Titan Drago. Oh, anyway, I hope you guys are doing good and you've got some questions for me because I'm ready to answer some questions. God, it's been a long week. That Ubisoft show, though, holy shit, that was crap. I don't know. You guys must be like off your rocker because you thought it was good. I thought it was absolute shit. I didn't see anything on there that got my pecker in a pointy fashion.
What are you playing these days, Andy?
What am I playing these days? With myself. That's why I am Handy Andy.
I knew I shouldn't ask.
I've got some greasy fingers. Come here, ladies. Don't you know I get a licky with my sticky? Look at my teeth.
Need some white out.
Okay, so is there any questions in the chat? Yeah.
Oh,
Princess Zelda's asking, what did you do Father's Day, Andy?
Well, I'm not a father. Not yet, anyway. But I intend on having at least 100 kids. Not with the same woman, though. I'm going to impregnate every chick I see. I want to be like the big bastard dad. Bastards everywhere.
What about your father? Is Noof your father over here? What's going on?
Fuck that shit. I'm glad he's not my dad. Oh my God, he's disgusting. I couldn't stand him for a father. He smells like fart.
Jago says, hey, Andy, how do you play video games with those limp hands?
Well, have you ever seen an Atari joystick? I've modified them. It's one button pushing for the pushing and the cushion, baby.
Accessibility, eh?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all about accessibility. You come to my house and you'll find out. I can access your closets, your PC, your attic.
Just can't.
I'm accessible, Handy Andy.
You just can't access what's beyond the panty line.
Oh, I'm an expert in that, Titan. Expert. All you got to do. I always said you just need some pills to get your thrills. You know what I mean?
Timber says, "Does Andy have a favorite game?"
God, yeah. That's a great question because there's so many fantastic games. But let me see. Yeah, well, I always kind of like Leisure Suite Larry. He was kind of like an idol and an icon. You guys know Leisure Suite, right? I'm pretty sure Mental knows Leisure Suite.
Yeah, that guy's something. So if you're gonna pattern yourself after anyone,
yeah,
good as any, I guess.
He's an icon.
Leisure Suit.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Clap your hands for Leisure Suite. He was the guy who's really neat. He'd take off your pants and he would do a dance because he was Leisure Suite Larry.
He's just doing it so he can rhyme.
2-time Buster Rhyme.
Jacob said, I don't think that's an Atari joystick he's using.
No, you know what? Seriously, Microsoft sent me one of those adaptive controllers. It's got like the big fucking buttons on it. But I like those raised buttons. Kind of reminds me of a nice set of nipples. Yeah, those are always great. I love a good set of boobs and a pair of tweakers.
Doggy wants to know, is your ass as dirty as them teeth?
Oh, my ass is dirtier than these teeth. As a matter of fact, I got some bad ass hair that kind of looks a lot like, the hair on my head. And let me tell you, when you got one of them really sticky fucking corn shits, there is nothing worse than ass hair.
He's trying to give you some mental images there.
But anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. The show is fucking over time again because Niv can't keep his shit together, and he cut into my time because I should just do the whole show myself. You guys would love that, right? Like, fuck these tweezers, and let's do the hand show. What do you think, guys? Am I like, you guys like me, or am I? Yeah, never mind. By the way, at some point, I think Arnold Safehouse and what's his name, Cletus might come on here. I like Cletus. He reminds me a lot of me, but he's a little dumber. Yeah.
A little dumber, eh?
We got to poll the chat sometime soon to see who's their favorites. That would be a close one, I bet.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, am I still here?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right.
You are.
I didn't know where I was. All right.
Just lost your video. That's it.
There the sea bears. Oh, that's not it. All right. So anyway, guys, getting ready to close the show. Hope you enjoyed Handy Andy for the third week in a row. I'm sure he will be he will get better as the weeks go on, and hopefully this podcast will continue to improve as well. If you have any suggestions, comments, or anything else, please feel free to put them in the chat or whatever, or send us a message. Let us know. But what Splendifer's like, what the fuck? I had 3 questions. Curry Cosmo, it's good to see you in the chat. To everybody that's hung out with us, we love you. You're amazing. Talos Ray, Jago Kukin, Thimber, Nix, everybody here. See, Fastback's been in the chat tonight. Like I said, HTK here as well. Boss Bod, Lethal Papa in the building. What's going on? Lethal Papa, Sir X-Man. The list goes on. You guys are amazing. So we're going to get out of here. It was another good show. Let's head over to our guest, Mental9R. Let people know where they can find you when you're not hanging out here with us crazies.
Twitter.com, Mental9R, and just how you see it spelled here on the screen. I tend to keep fairly good tabs on Twitter. I'm not there 24/7 like some people, but yeah, if you message me there, you're going to get a response. That's where I'm at.
We should just start our own social media and just call it Shitter.
Shitter.com.
Yeah. Shitter.com, that's right, because there's nothing but bullshit in there all the time, right?
Yeah. That made me think of that Christmas movie. What the heck? Christmas Vacation. Shitter was full.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, he's outside with the friggin' hose or whatever.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yes, it is indeed. Titan Drago, when you're not hanging out with here, where can we find you? You got anything going down lately?
I had a interesting Twitter thread. I made a video about it like last week, so it was pretty funny. It felt good just to get on the mic or whatever and do a little talking. Yeah, sorry, Splen. Sorry, I'm still cracking up. A fucking dirtbag Drago didn't read them.
Save him for next week. Handy Andy will be back. Don't worry.
Yeah. As far as the Common Sense Award this week, you know what? When you go to work, you set an alarm. You don't want to be late to work or whatever. And we got our man Timothy Dixon this week set his alarm to make it to the show on time. He even did it an hour early just to be extra punctual. And that, my friends, brings the common back to sense. Until next week, everybody. See you then.
Yeah, it's great to see a lot of the people that came out tonight. A lot of them are been around a long time and have watched almost every episode of Gaming After Dark. And we'll see a lot of them come over and give us lots of great compliments about how much they've liked this show so far. So that's fantastic. Nothing but great comments after last week. So we hope to keep the goods coming. We haven't stuck to that stuff I said, like in terms of like timing us per topic and stuff, but I feel we don't necessarily have to, at least at this point, because nobody really is overstaying their welcome on a topic, at least at this point in time. And we're going to keep the topic levels fairly short, and not going to be like 40 different topics in the show. So, it'll be a little easier to pound them regardless. And I like the fluidity of sort of being spontaneous too, not always just scripted and you don't be cutting people off mid-sentence. So far, so good. The comments have been awesome. The Like I said, it's been received really well. So we'll keep rolling it, and we hope you're enjoying it. And we're looking forward to have some guests. If you feel like you want to be a guest on this particular show, just drop me a message, and I'll look forward to certainly hitting you up and getting you on in a particular week. So there you go. So you know where to find me, guys. When I'm out here hanging out with these two guys, you can find me on Thursday nights, at least for the next little while, with KY Bob and company over at Game Set Live on KY Bob's channel. That is Thursday nights, goes down at the same time as this one at 9. I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern, so 7 Mountain Time. We'll see you then. But until then, next Monday night, mark it in your calendars. Hope to see you all back here. Have a great one, everybody.
I think
Good
I'd
night,
rather
everyone.
kiss Boba
Cheers.
Freak than Andy.
That's hilarious. Look at that guy. Oh, shit.
Good times.
Is his eyes open and closed?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. He looks like he's stoned. He looks like he just literally had too much weed. Look at him. That's awesome. Oh, shit. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next week.
Good night, folks.